Right now we are leaving to a hotel for the hurricane, and I think we've prepared everything. Heading up.
I'm Andrea, that's Alejo, and those are our bears, Ozzy and Deco. We left the corporate world in Miami to become digital nomads and chase the wind kiteboarding. Join us as we sail an adventure in our dream home, Hakuna. Hurricane Dorian is coming. It's now a Category 3, and it's heading north. It's heading to South Carolina, where we are. So we're preparing our plan. We're putting together a plan of what we're going to do, because we just bought this boat and there is absolutely no way that we're going to, I mean, we can't say no way because, you know, God does whatever he wants to do, but he doesn't want us to ruin boats. So since he doesn't want to do that, we need to prepare a plan. So we woke up today and checked on the hurricane, and it's coming directly towards us. It's gonna hit as a Category 3 or a Category 2 hurricane. And so we've made the decision to just head north and there you go, and haul out the boat in North Carolina. So we're putting everything away and we're preparing for our first sail, which we were not prepared for right now. We were thinking it was gonna be like 2 weeks or so. So we're freaking out a little bit, but well, we got a boat in the first place, right? So we are a little bit scared, but whatever. We'll figure this one out, just like we always do. But we got this. Totally got this. Pero, ¿les dijo que le marcáramos cuando estuviéramos en el dock?
No, que ya cuando estuviéramos listos para salir, porque no van a salir.
Ah, okay. This is SD Marlin. We're ready to leave now. There you go. Thank you. Marica.
¿Y cómo entonces qué?
Okay.
¿Sacas la trompa?
Ya,
¿Lo
so.
quieres manejar tú?
No.
¿No?
No. ¿Quieres que maneje yo? Porque te sientes más cómodo. It was going to be the first time that we moved the boat without our sailing instructor next to us to guide us through the process. We were extremely nervous to pull out of the dock because we were tied in between two other catamarans. At that moment, we missed our ASA instructor more than ever. Having her next to us just gave us the confidence to try, because we knew that if we did anything wrong, she was right next to us to correct our mistakes. But this time, we were all alone, and it was time to get past that fear.
Forward. It's in forward. Forward. Marica, pero ayúdame, amor. Ven, ayúdame.
Oh my god. Oh. Dios.
¿Ah?
No, bueno.
Yo sentía que me iba a pegar contra ese bote grandotote, weón.
Oiga, te lo juro. No, fucking.
Bueno, ahí te lo... Y claro, es porque los otros motores como full, eso es lo que los tengo. El otro barco que teníamos, que manejamos nosotros. Esta mierda es repotente, le hago así. Marica, qué cagas. Ah, también es horrible.
You wanted a boat, right? Did you want a boat? Dime, ¿no querías?
Marica, pero mientras uno le coge el tiro, uno está pariendo piñas, güey. ¿Ah? On the boat side. Now it's turn.
Got it. Te dijo stern port side. So I'm gonna go all the way there and turn. Luckily, everything went well, but as we moved around the marina to fill out our fuel tanks and head out to run away from Hurricane Dorian, the small storm kept approaching.
asustó, marica.
No está. Atrás, Osieco, atrás. Okay, so we officially made it. We already put some fuel in the boat, and now we are motoring our way out. The life jacket is on for the dogs. And continue sailing our way out and running away from Dorian. How do you feel? Echo? Ay, qué linda. Muy bien. Good girl. Good girl. Ah, muy bien. Good girl. As we motor our way out of the bay, the waves kept getting bigger, and our ASA class never taught us that going against 7-foot waves was just horrible. On top of that, we got a call from my father-in-law saying that the hurricane had changed paths again, and now it was heading north, straight to North Carolina. Later that afternoon, I received a text from the marina saying that they were full and they couldn't haul us out. So we had to go back to Hilton Head and try to stay as safe as we could.
¿Estás cagada?
So right now we are leaving to a hotel for the hurricane, and I think we've prepared everything. We tightened up the dinghy. I'll show you guys up front. We're taking some food for like 5 days. We tightened up the mainsail, removed the jib, anything that was outside, the cushions, everything. We lowered the boom and put it on top of some fenders. And yeah, we're hoping everything goes well and just praying that that big thing doesn't come on top of us. But everything on our end is tight, it's secured, and we're ready. We're leaving. A bit nervous, but there's not much to do. Stop it, Costa.
Alright, so we made it back on the boat, and after spending one night in a hotel because of Hurricane Dorian, and luckily everything's fine, the boat is perfect, nothing was destroyed, so yeah, we're very fortunate. Now all we have to do is put everything back and lower the dinghy full of water. ¿Está llena de agua? Ew. Él está que sale y mira y se sienta afuera. Pato, si ya te muevo el charo.
El viento ya...
Yeah, I think it's fine now. Pasito a pasito, suavecito. Hola, Dilberto. We're very grateful for having awesome neighbors in Hilton Head that shared their experience and knowledge with us on how to prepare our catamaran for a storm, and thankfully, nothing happened. Now it was time for us to put everything the way it was before. Oh, sí. Hola, Cito. Qué estrés ese huracán, ¿no?
Eso que uno como que no sabe ni qué hacer, ni se halla.
está moviendo?
Sí. Sí sabía que por la monotonía me querías. Dale, pu.
Está lindo. Ok, ahora dale a este. Cuando eso le crece, las tres vueltas. Hasta que pasó todo. Sí, no sirve para algo. Alright, people. So we're gonna talk about the things we learned the first day
We went out sailing.
we left the dock and that we returned to a dock.
Exactly. So we'll start with docking. So that particular day was it was the first day that we had ever pulled out of a dock, right, without our instructor next to us guiding us through the process. So we were extremely nervous, and I think these are like a couple of things that we want you guys to keep in mind, and hopefully you can learn from our experience and just, you know, something that we wish we would have known. So I guess the first thing is that you should, before you go into a dock or pull out of a dock, you should sit down with your team. In this case, we should have sat down that day, the two of us, and like strategize on a plan. Like strategize on, okay, so we're going to pivot off the bow, we're going to do this, you're going to hold this line, I'm going to be at the helm. Like we should have had a plan together before we actually executed it, because you know, you say, okay, you're gonna be at the helm, but then at the end of the day, when things get really stressful, like
Yeah, well, you don't know what to do. So,
yeah,
and you start like
panicking. Yeah, like
as you can see in the video, I started to panic.
Yeah, you start freaking out because you don't know like what you're supposed to be doing. Instead, if you have a plan and you've already communicated with your team, okay, Alejo's gonna be doing this, Andrea is supposed to be doing that. You know exactly who's doing what, and it just helps so much, right? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, and you should also have like plan A and plan B just in case things don't go like you expected. So yeah, just have two plans and go for it. You know?
Yep.
Point number 2. So in our experience, what happened was the person helping us at the dock, he wasn't like supportive. He was just screaming and like give a fuel and telling us like what to do instead of like being supportive.
Stressed out a lot. That put a lot more pressure
Yeah.
into us, right? Like you just felt like someone's yelling at you. You're trying to do things at the same time. They're yelling you to give it more power. They're yelling to bring it into the, you know, pull your stern or something like that. And you're like, you know, you're trying to do everything at once, and it just gets really stressful. Like you need to tell this person to calm down and to, you know, like be there to support you and like guide you through the process in a way that is going to, that you're going to feel comfortable and you're not going to feel like demanding, right?
Yeah.
I guess like
and also like if they start screaming, so you think you're doing things wrong when
Yeah.
you're not, when you're doing everything right, and it's a catamaran, it's gonna move slow, it's not a freaking race boat. So that person at the dock was yelling like giving more power. So I mean, it was horrible. It wasn't a good experience. But now we know, like we learned that like take your time.
yeah.
Slow is good.
Slow is perfectly fine.
And
Like
it's your boat, so do whatever you want, what you think it's right, and
if it crashes, if you're going really fast,
It's
the
gonna-
damage is gonna be way bigger. If you hit something and you're going really slow, you have time to put your fender. You have time to think, like you have time to
Or to
respond a
react.
lot. Yeah, to react a lot with a lot more time. So like, don't feel pressured by, you know, people at the dock. You're at the helm. You're the one that calls the shots, and that's something that as newbies we don't think, because we're like, okay, maybe I don't know anything and maybe I need this person to tell me everything that I need to do. No, I mean, if you already took your class, if you already know how the motor works, yes, take their advice as support, but don't let them like
pressure you.
Pressure you, yeah. Don't let them pressure you. You're like, you're at the helm. You take control. You keep calm. You know what you're doing.
Your boat.
It's your boat. Yeah. If it damages, it's your boat.
You get to damage your own
You
boat.
get to damage your own boat. Exactly. So take it slow. Take your time. It'll be fine. When docking, point number 3. Each boat is so different. Like the boat that we had, I guess, driven before, the catamaran that we used in our ASA sailing class was completely different. It was still a huge catamaran. It was, you know, but the engines, like tell them about it.
The engines were electric, and they were like, I don't know, like 20 horsepower each engine. So I mean, just to move it, you had to go full throttle on an engine. So on this one, when we started to move the catamaran, it felt like it had a lot of power, because instead of having like, I don't know, like 20 horsepower engines, we had 75 horsepower engines. So I mean, it moved a lot faster than the one we were used to in the course.
And point number 4.
4.
You can never have enough fenders out. Like literally, if you have a million fenders, put a million fenders around your boat. I mean, if you're a pro at this, maybe you don't need them. If you're a noob like us, you might as well have a million fenders covering every single inch of the boat, and knowing that nothing's gonna happen to it if you screw up. It's gonna make you feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you feel so much more comfortable to know, for the person that's at the helm and for the person that's around jumping, you know, trying to cover all the spots, to know that you have fenders all around and that the boat is properly covered, right?
Yep.
Anything else that you want to add to that?
Also, for the fenders, I mean, if you have like different size of fenders, that doesn't matter. We have like 4 ball fenders for the corners, which are really good.
Yeah.
Which they work. And yeah.
Going on to the points of things we wish we would have known that day. Point number 1, go.
So I think number 1 will be about the weather. That we saw like a black cloud coming, and we're like, oh, there's a storm coming, we need to hurry and leave. I mean, normally now if we see a black cloud, we'll just stay and wait for the little storm to pass by. But that day we just took the storm head on, and it wasn't a good experience.
It wasn't a good experience. Like, I mean, I think also we wouldn't have gone out that day. It's just that we felt pressured because we felt the hurricane, the hurricane was coming. We're like, okay, if we don't go out right now, we don't have enough time to make it away from the hurricane. And the hurricane, like, you know, it was, I don't know, it was in Florida that day. It was already like in mid-Florida, like West Palm Beach or something.
We had like 3 days.
We had like, exactly, 3-4 days. So we're like, if we don't leave right now, we're not gonna make it. And yeah, we just left that day, and it was just a nasty experience. It was a bad experience. Like, it was a bad experience. First and foremost, I think that they helped us to realize that, you know, as big as this boat is, it's completely insignificant in the ocean. Like when you're in the middle of the ocean, this thing moves like you're nothing. You're so insignificant. Yeah, you're nothing. And so that's something that we didn't realize it, and now it helped us. We're now a lot more conservative. You know, if there's a cloud, we put down the sails, we head in, you know, we take our time, we're not in a hurry. So we're a lot more conservative now because we take it like a lot more serious. And yeah, I think so. Don't go out into like, even if it's a small storm or a little cloud.
Yeah.
Point number 2.
Point number 2.
Sorry, I have to add point number 2.
So that day we also had like really big waves, like 5-6 feet waves.
It was like 7 feet.
Alright, 7 feet. I don't know, like something like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't stop talking. I'm sorry. That we checked the predict wind that day, right? We checked the waves, and it said it was gonna be 4-foot waves. When we were out, right? When we were out, it was not 4 feet waves. Like, there was no way that was a 4 feet waves. That was what, like 7 foot?
Yeah. And I think it was because of the storm that was coming, like the black cloud, and that made the sea state and everything like much worse.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was really bad. So yeah, I think it was definitely really bad. And this is something that we were not told in our ASA class. We were not, and maybe, I mean, we took the 3 first classes for ASA, first courses, and I don't know, it was just never mentioned how horrible it is to go against waves. Like, it is not the same to have the waves behind you, yeah, than to go against the waves. So when we were, you know, when we were out there, we literally, I don't know, we just didn't know. Did you know? I didn't know. So we go out there thinking it was gonna be 4-foot waves. We're literally going against the waves, and then we're smashing. Like, the boat is just smashing hard, and you could just hear, like, it was splashing everywhere. You could feel like, it just felt like the boat was gonna break in half. It was pretty nasty.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. So that's when we realized, okay, and that was a teaching experience, you know, had we not lived that moment, now we know, like, if it's bigger than 3 feet, we don't even go out on, like, if it's against the waves.
Yeah.
We just don't. Unless the waves are behind us, we don't even bother. Like, it's just gonna be a really horrible ride. We don't want to go in it. We just don't want to go out and suffer. It's just painful. Like, for us, for the dogs, so we just don't do it. That's pretty much it. And the one last thing is from the hurricane, we learned how to prepare for a hurricane. You know, you have to make sure that you tie the boom, you remove the jib, because if you leave the jib on, right? If you leave the jib on and it catches any kind of wind, it just destroys the boat.
Yeah, it can unfurl by itself and then
Yeah.
destroy the sails and the rigging, and yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, exactly. Regarding the rigging, anything? Oh, you set the boom loose, right?
Yeah.
In order to
What we did
remove-
was we loosened up the boom, put some fenders below it, and tied it with ropes to both sides of the boat, so it doesn't move, and that way the boom doesn't start to like pull on the rigging and can damage like the rigging and also. So yeah.
Yep.
Well, those things we learned at the marina.
Yep, exactly. Because we had cool neighbors that were helping us with everything. That they knew a lot more than we did. So.
Yeah.
What else regarding the hurricane? Oh, a lot of people left their ¿cómo se llama eso? The covers of the boats.
Yeah, the little tents.
Yeah, the tents, like the covers. I don't know what that's called, but the tents or the covers of the boats, they left them on. Well, when there's 70-mile winds coming or 60 or whatever it was, they like, that was, you know, that was the biggest damage in the marina. Like on the boats around us, like everybody's tents or covers were ripped. So don't leave them on. I guess remove it, leave the whole thing open, and that's pretty much it. So that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And you can subscribe in the red button below. And right down there, corner, whatever, somewhere there's a red button.